Today is a huge day, a historical day maybe for dividend growth investors across the board, and this is because the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF or SCHD has officially split, and right now as of filming this video is currently trading at $28.52 per share. Now, although us investors knew this day was coming, it still does feel kind of crazy that it's actually here, and seeing this ETF with my own two eyes that I've been basically buying every single day for the past few years, trading in the upper $20 per share is honestly still shocking. Now, I know a lot of us dividend investors have been talking nonstop about this split and saying that it's going to be very impactful. Some investors think it's not going to be, etc. But I wanted to make one final video talking about this split, showing you guys how many shares I have as of right now post-split, my current cost basis, how much I'm going to be earning in dividends, etc, etc. I also want to talk about the implication of this split and why I still at this point think this is extremely bullish. So whether you hold on to SCHD or have ever thought about it, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. Real quick for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So first up, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go through my actual dividend tracker, as you can see right here, and show you guys how much SCHD I currently have across all my portfolios, how much my average cost per share is, etc. So as of right now, like I shared with you guys, SCHD is trading at around $28.50 per share as of filming this video. So $28.50 is the number. I currently own my 2,139 shares of SCHD at an average cost of around $24.33. Now these numbers are not necessarily going to be precise, but this gives you an idea of around how much I own of SCHD as of right now and how much I bought most of the shares for. Now this gives me somewhere of a dividend yield on cost of over 4%, and this is largely due to the fact that I bought a ton of SCHD in the 60s last year or earlier this year and loaded up when SCHD was very, very cheap. Now with my 2,100 and almost 40 shares of SCHD, it's still kind of crazy to even say that out loud. I'm currently earning somewhere of around $180 per month if we were to average out the forward dividends, but of course with future dividend increases, etc., this number is going to change ongoingly. Now, just as you guys probably guessed it, I did go ahead and buy a few more shares of SCHD today to add to my portfolio, and honestly, while doing so, I have a few interesting takeaways. Now, to be transparent, in one of my portfolios that I did grab a few shares of SCHD today, I had around $200, maybe $300 of cash balance in that portfolio. Now, what was interesting to me is that I went in and bought 3 shares of SCHD, which again were trading somewhere in the 28s, which means I spent just under $100 for 3 shares of the ETF. Now, because I purchased 3 shares in that brokerage account, I basically purchased 1 share of SCHD pre-split, which is more or less the normal amount of SCHD I grab on a daily basis. But one thing that was interesting to me is that because this ETF is now trading in the $28 range, because of the split, of course, even in smaller brokerage accounts that I currently have, as of right now, you can see that in this portfolio, this Robinhood portfolio, it's a very small portfolio of mine. I only have around 9.9 shares of SCHD in it, and I have brokers across almost every single broker. But on some of the brokerages that I don't necessarily have as much cash balance in, because again, I have some of my main brokerages and maybe some more of my side brokerages, it's interesting because now I have enough money, even in the smaller brokers, to purchase a share of SCHD here and there. Because of course, even though some brokerages like Robinhood offer fractional purchases, not all the stock market brokerages do. Now this means that in my situation, for me personally, I in theory can purchase more SCHD more consistently, which of course means my overall ownership of SCHD is going to go up, and which also means in theory, I'm going to invest more into SCHD than I might have before the split. Now that's just one of the many reasons I think this split is so bullish, and also just like I predicted, as of right now at least, SCHD is trading at an all-time high at around $28.52 per share. Now one of the main other reasons I think this split is super bullish, especially for more income-focused investors that are looking to earn a little bit more money off their shares of SCHD, I'm talking about selling covered calls. Now, although this video is not going to be me showing you how to sell covered calls, even though I'd be more than happy to make a video on that, so definitely comment down below if this is something you guys want to see. I personally do sell covered calls across my portfolios, and it helps me earn a lot more income across my portfolios consistently and also protect against some downside. But with selling covered calls, as some of you guys might know, you need to own 100 shares at least of whatever stock or ETF you want to sell covered calls on. So that means that as of right now, if you were to want to sell covered calls in SCHD, you need to invest around $2,851 into 100 shares of this ETF in order to sell covered calls and get earning premium, get earning extra income ASAP. Now, before this split, that means you would have to purchase around $8,000, $9,000 worth of SCHD, which again, I understand it's the same difference as far as a split or pre-split, although it's still much easier, much more accessible for most investors out there to purchase 100 shares at $28.50 versus 100 shares of the pre-split price. Now with this, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more investors, especially you guys watching this video, maybe you guys are a little bit newer to investing, I would not be surprised if you guys come along and say, yeah, I actually did sell some covered calls on my shares of SCHD, or maybe even bought extra SCHD to sell options on. And because SCHD is so much cheaper now, this is going to be much more obtainable to a lot more investors because not every investor out there has $8,000 or $9,000 to play with. But I think a lot more investors out there, especially younger investors that are interested in options trading, will definitely have a few $1,000s to throw into it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is something that's going to be very interesting when it comes to SCHD moving forward. Now the dividends along with the share price of the ETF have all basically been cut in three. Now this means that on an annual payout as of right now for SCHD, we're looking at 98 cents per share, which is probably going to be somewhat confusing because if you guys own this one like I do, you probably mentally have remembered more or less how much per year SCHD is paid out as far as dividends go. So we're going to have to get used to everything basically being split in three. But going off the most recent dividend payouts, now September's dividend looks like it's 25.15 cents. July was 27.47 and March was 20.367 cents. Now, even though again, these numbers look much smaller, remember you have 3 times as many shares as you did pre-split, so everything is exactly even. So my final takeaways when it comes to this SCHD split is that I'm super excited that right now across my portfolios, I can say that now I own over 2,100 shares of this ETF that once again I've been basically collecting for the last several years. And on top of that, because of this split, I'm more bullish than ever for multiple reasons that I've talked about in this video as well as previous videos. Now, I personally do think that we're going to see this ETF trading above $30 per share very soon here, which of course means $90 pre-split, which would of course be an all-time high. Now, I've lived and been involved with different stock splits in the past for names like Apple and other really popular high volume traded names. And a lot of times, even though it's just psychological, a lot of investors, especially retail investors, gobble up more shares because of course they're quote unquote a lot cheaper to buy. But with all this being said, I have one last question to ask all you guys down below, especially those of you that own shares of SCHD. How many shares do you have post-split across all your portfolios? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.